Yes, this is John G. Sutton, and welcome to Tales from the Jails. I'm going to talk a little bit today about my time at HM Prison Wormwood Scrubs in London. It's situated on Duquesne Road. For those of you who know where Duquesne Road is, it's in London West 12, near East Acton. Right, well, I was there in 1975, and those of you who have been following the podcasts here or broadcasts on my YouTube channel will have noted that I've spoken about my troubles with the chairman of the Prison Officers Association, who was also he was in charge. He was the principal officer in charge of the allocations of duties, yeah? Which is nice and appropriate. I mean, what more do you want if you're a junior officer than having the chairman of your trade union be also the person that allocated your day-to-day tasks? What more could you want? And a principal officer, a member of the management, running your trade union. Today, there still are principal officers in the Prison Officers Association. I don't know if they're chairman of the local branches of the POA, but I wouldn't be surprised. It seems to be a quirk. You know, I mean, you go anywhere else, you won't see trade unions run by the management. Do you know why? Of course. Because unions are there to represent the workers. And who is giving the workers tasks and potentially inappropriately using their services? That would be the management. All right. I said it then, I'll say it again. Managers manage and workers work, and the trade union's there to represent the workers. Well, I was one of the workers at Wormwood Scrubs, and of course I crossed paths with the principal officer, who was the chairman of the Prison Officers Association. And I started to find myself, believe this or not, getting very strange details, very strange kind of work that I was being required to do, and extremely dangerous. Yeah, I previously mentioned about this sent me to search the cells of the IRA. Now I have no political thoughts about the IRA. I mean, if they're sentenced to imprisonment and I'm employed as a prison officer, then it's my duty to do what a prison officer does, which is what I did, without bias. I mean, but they sent me to search the cells of the IRA, and when I went there, they tried to prevent me from doing it. For a start off, the IRA wouldn't allow me to search the cells. No, we're not doing that. Get lost. So I said, okay, as much force as it takes, I will use. But because that's my job, you see, it was my job. But they didn't allow me to do it. And subsequently, the IRA rioted and went on the roof, and they were dressed in mock uniforms and had fake outfits on, camouflage outfits and all that, parading up and down the roof of Wormwood Scrubs, waving the Irish tricolour and demanding political status. That's what it was all about, you see. I mean, personally, I had no political thoughts about this. All I knew was that I was a jailer and I was there to lock them up. That was it. Do my job. Except I wasn't allowed to do my job because the principal officer and senior staff in charge of the thing said, no, leave them alone. You're not allowed to do that. So, yes, I am. I'm in charge of the security for today and I'm going to search the cells. No. Seriously. If they'd let me search the cells, I would have found all this equipment that they had when they went up onto the roof. So they wouldn't have been able to have the flag and their mock military uniforms that they were wearing, because they had them secreted in the cells, and I was about to search the cells. They stopped me from doing that. As the IRA were breaking through onto the roof, my colleague, who I knew very well, was a friend of mine, went up to them and started to get hands on them to bring them down. And the IRA actually turned to him and said, listen, don't do this, turn around, go back, otherwise you're going to be a dead hero. Are you with me? At that point, my friend decided that he'd rather go for a pint than be a dead hero, you know? So he knocked that on the head and left him to it. You can't blame him. But I found myself getting these strange jobs being thrown my way, extremely dangerous jobs, because the members of the IRA used to say to you, you know, we are aware of where you live. And they'd say things to me like, you've got a wife and child, haven't you? Just think about that before you do what you're about to do, which, you know, I had to do. It was my job, you see. It was dangerous, you know. Seriously. And one day I got to, and this was by the principal officer in charge of allocating shifts and duties. They actually put me on duty to supervise the IRA having personal visits from their family. Now, I was required, so they told me, to take notes, to write notes. So I had to sit in with the IRA and their family and take notes on what was being said. You may imagine how delighted the members of the IRA were to have me sitting in the same unit, small unit, small room, alongside their family. And you can be assured that they were saying things to me like, we know who you are, we know exactly where you live. And of course I was being put in that position time and time again. But I had to do my job. I mean, that was what I was employed to do. So I actually did it. Somewhat reluctantly. I mean, I actually said to the members of the IRA that I took in to do that, I said, listen, I don't want to do this. Not my idea. This is what they're requiring me to do. So I will be as unobtrusive as it is possible for a man to be while sitting in the same room as you and your family. So just continue with your visit, and I won't interfere. But I'm telling you that you could have cut the atmosphere with a knife. The family of the IRA is staring at me like I'm some kind of creature from the Black Lagoon, you know. And of course the IRA are mumbling threats. But that was the chairman of the POA put me in that position. Yeah, time after time. Why me? Yeah, why me? Well, I've got a rough idea. They thought if anybody's going to get killed by these people, let it be him. Yeah, i.e. me. Yeah, seriously, dangerous stuff. But they never actually did anything to me. But listen, not to say that it wasn't being considered. I came home from work one day. I'd been on, I think it was hospital watch or something like that. And I'd started at 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon or something like that, yeah. And anyway, I came home about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I got home. And I was living in prison quarters on a place called Bromyard Avenue in East Acton. It's still there. All the quarters have been flattened and they've built luxury flats now. But that's where we lived, yeah. So I got on from work about 3 o'clock, and there was a prisoner that I recognised from D Wing, which is the lifers wing, and he was painting the stairwell, you know, the metal stairs. I said to him, "There's nobody here, no supervision. This guy's an inmate." I said to him, "What are you doing here?" He said, "Oh, I've been put here by the works department to paint this." I said, "Get back to the prison," I said, "and report to your officer that's supposed to be in charge of you. You cannot be in prison quarters unsupervised. This is a life-serving prisoner, a lifer, a murderer, yeah, out of the prison, being given a pot of paint and a brush and told to paint the railings on the staircase going up to the prison staff quarters on supervise. I mean, how mad is that? I mean, don't forget, they're in the same wing as the IRA, on the same landings, talking to the IRA. They knew exactly where we were, how many people lived there, what the house number was. This is kind of madness that was taking place. So I contacted the governor at Wormwood Scrubs and I said, do not, under any circumstances, send any unsupervised inmates to the area of housing where I live. So, because if you do send them again, I'll send them back. Do you know what he said? He said, well, how are they supposed to be rehabilitated into society if we don't have them working outside? I said, that isn't my problem. That is a problem for society, for the government, for the Home Office. And as for you sending unsupervised prisoners who are still in D-Wing serving life for murder out to paint the stairways up leading to my house with my wife and family in there, I said, do not do it again. The governor wasn't very happy, by the way. And I rather suspect that nobody had spoken to him like that for a long time. But somebody's got to do it, don't you think? Tales from the jails. I sincerely hope that you've enjoyed this little look at the kind of disgusting, disgraceful system that pertained at Wormwood Scrubs in 1975. John G. Sutton. Hey, by the way, get my book, Psychic Screw. It's available on Amazon by John G. Sutton. Tells all about this. Thank you.